Now to the story that Fox Business has been on top of since it broke, and now it's creating a national outcry. Mylan Labs is a pharmaceutical company that produces a life-saving EpiPen. It's found itself in the center of a firestorm after the company has now hiked its price for the medication and the device essential to so many people who suffer from severe allergies by nearly 500%. Parents of children with severe allergies who are sending them back to school and just over the next couple of weeks are outraged, and now, well, lawmakers are too. Robyn Brien is the founder of Allergy Kids and has really been called the Aaron Brockovich of the food industry. Thanks for joining us, Robyn. I understand that one of your kids needs the EpiPen, has severe food allergies.
That's right, Charles. You know, it's our youngest child. We have 4 kids, and prior to that, we really weren't that sensitive to the whole food allergy epidemic. And then when this 4th child had an allergic reaction one morning, it absolutely changed our lives. It changed the way we approached food, and it changed so much. I know it had to freak you out, and over the last few years, this price hike has been gradual, and then it's just come on like crazy. When did you first see this, and is this what moved you to start this advocacy group? You know, I have been part of this movement for over a decade. I saw it as an issue that so many parents were facing. You know, people needed to have their voices heard. They were worried that people didn't understand food allergies. They didn't understand the condition, how life-threatening it could be. But it was about a year ago when I started to see the uptick in the price of EpiPens, and I'd been an analyst on a fund that had managed $20 billion in assets. So I got the business model behind this. But what I was starting to hear were parents saying, you know what, I am so concerned that I'm not going to be able to afford that. And that was last year, just after school. Well, this year, starting at the end of July, parents were freaking out, and they were contacting me, and they were saying, I can't afford them, Robyn. And I think the thing that people forget, Charles, is that you don't just buy one set. Most doctors are recommending that patients have at least 2 or 3 sets on hand so that you can have one at school, maybe one in mom's purse, and maybe one at home. Right. And if you got 2 parents living in different houses, there you've got another set there. So we're not just talking about a one-time deal. And then the other thing that parents were expressing just such deep concern over is that this product has an expiration. It has a pretty short shelf life of just a year. So they're looking out and they're thinking, you know, if I have to buy 3 or 4 or 5 sets right now and then a year, I'm renewing this thing. You know, some parents were saying, I spend more on my mortgage than I'm spending on my EpiPen.
Robyn, have you been in touch with Mylan, and if so, what have they told you?
You know, Mylan has really put up some walls. I have not been in touch with them, but what I have heard from are mothers who have been spokespeople for the company, and a mother of 5 just contacted me this afternoon, literally on my way in to do this interview, and she said, Robyn, I resigned. I cannot represent the interests of that company. I have 5 children, and children die because they do not have access to a life-saving device because of the way that company has jacked up the prices. And this is from a woman who worked for them. It is absolutely taking parents by surprise. They are reacting in such a powerful way. And it's not just parents. I'm hearing from school nurses. Last night after the segment yesterday, a school nurse contacted me and she says, please don't stop. We have so many children who are so exposed, whose parents can't afford this. Please don't stop. You know,
Robyn, I'll echo those requests as well. I'm a big-time capitalist, but this is not capitalism as I know it or preach it. And I really wish you the best. We're going to continue as a network. We've been pounding Mylan, and we're going to get this thing resolved one way or the other. Really, thank you very much, and good luck with everything.
Thanks so much, Charles.
All right, I want to bring in Lee Munson on the business side of this story because Robyn alluded to this, and this is also a business story. And Lee, you know, people need to understand that we know it could cost up to $3 billion to create these drugs for these companies. They do themselves have a shelf life before generic cheap knockoffs can be made and they no longer can be profitable. Where do you think Mylan should draw the line, or do you think they should? Should they take advantage of the opportunity in the small window that they have?
Every corporation should have the right to competitively price their products. But this isn't a competition. They're using a legal loophole saying, look, we've got this patent, we've got this thing that says we can make this for $1 and then charge $700 for it. I think investors, versus us trying to fix America, you and I cannot fix the patent system, and we all know that they've got to make a return on their money. But here's what investors need to take away. Do not invest in companies of which the profits and the future earnings are based on a loophole that is lobbied for in the Washington, D.C. Beltway. Okay, this is ridiculous. This is the same reason why Walmart should be going head-to-head selling online against Amazon rather than, you know, doing bribes so they can keep stores open in Mexico. Right. So I think investors really need to think and pry open. How is this company making money? If Lululemon wants to double the price
I don't want to get too far with other examples. I want to stay focused on the EpiPen and Mylan. The CEO of this company, over the last 7 years or so, her pay has gone up 670%. Heather Bresch, whose father, by the way, is Joe Munson, a very famous senator from West Virginia. In the meantime, the stock is only up 125%. So we're talking about a board of directors who's rewarding a CEO who really hasn't done much for the shareholders, at least with stock appreciation. In the meantime, is giving the company an extreme black eye over something I think this, at the very least, should be a loss leader for the company now. They better make some adjustments soon, right?
Well, absolutely, because think about it. Would you ever give money to that CEO, somebody who says, I'm going to be short-sighted, I'm going to take a price, I'm going to have a legal way to price gouge the public, and something that is morally disgusting for anybody who has kids. I've got 2 kids myself. It's disgusting. So I think that as investors, I'm not saying that we all need to be activists, but as investors, you have to think, is this a person who's creating value for the company, or is this just a cheap form of a land grab that's a short-term, you know, so they can get their compensation? But when you have 500% increases and almost $20 million pay packages to create no value, I think that CEO needs to be on the out. So, again, this has to do with CEO compensation. She hustled that board. She hustled shareholders. And you, as an investor, have to look and say,
by the way, I think, Lee,
do something.
I think it's another one of these crony boards, and they might have all hustled each other or the public. Before I let you go, there's a company called Antares Pharmaceuticals. ATRS is the symbol. Stock's been doing pretty good this week because they do have a generic version of this that they told the public they figured would probably get FDA approval in the second half of the year. So maybe any day now. I suspect that's another reason why Mylan is trying to squeeze as much money out of this as possible. And again, on one side, if it wasn't a life-saving drug, you would understand it. But you do draw the line between profits, greed, and being just out and out despicable. Hey, buddy, let's leave it there. You were fantastic, Lee. Got to get you back on more often.
Thanks so much. I can't wait.
All right, we'll see you soon.